Okay. Good evening, Team Beast, and for those of you joining us for the very first time, thank you for clicking on Beast Capacity Outdoors. I'm your leader, Team Beast, Daddy Beast, and this is finally at home after dinner, after some downtime, sore shoulders, after practice for the CBH SAA California State Indoor Championships. Yeah, that's what it was. And I think today was more practice as it was having to retune a bit, major kind of retuning on my sight, and a little minor problem I had to fix with my bow. I'm still shooting 8 ounces on the front, 9.64 on the back bar, and that's fine. I had a little less wobble today. My shoulder was in good form today. They're hurting now. And it's because then I could smell it in the air. We have rain in the air here in Southern California right now. So it's cold, it's moist, and so the shoulders are really, the joints are just saying ow and hello and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm a little sore. I busted out, after watching Greg's video on Jimmy Ellis's YouTube about just a little private competition they were having, Greg and one of their buddies, talking about the NFA indoor 5-spot, the NFA 5-spot. That don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Don't ignore that. I didn't do a lot of 5-spotting today. Only because, oh man, my sight was way off. I don't know why from last week to this week that my sight went majorly off. I hadn't pulled it out of the case, hadn't done nothing to the sight, but I was a good 43 clicks off, I'll say. And nothing was wrong with the bow. The drop away rest was in tune. The felt, some people might not think it matters, but the felt on my drop away was even down tight, not lifted, not nothing, because I was shooting high. For whatever reason, I was shooting very high. My anchor point was still the same. My draw the same. My everything, my release, the way I hold my release and everything was all the same. Where I was standing on the line addressing the target was the same. What was causing it, who knows? But the sight was definitely off. It never moved from the original position that I had it for 20 yards. So the tick marks were still, it was still at the same tick mark that I had for 20, but now that tick mark is now, like I said, like 42 clicks higher. And so, and that was just to bring the arrows down. And I had to move my sight. I'll show you here in a little bit. I had to move my sight, the actual scope housing itself, the scope housing bar, to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left, about 1/8 of an inch, almost a 1/2 an inch. So I can gain center shot again, or center mass again, and get my adjustments for left and right windage back to center, because I was the extreme left on my sight. And so, yeah, like I said, I'll get that out here and show you in a bit. But yeah, it was just weird today. So, as you can see, this is my target from today. 20 yards, 18 meters, indoor, and shooting 5 arrows. And I mean, I aimed here, I hit here. I aimed here. I shot off paper. I aimed here. I shot off paper. I aimed here. I hit here. I aimed here. Shot off paper. So, okay, evident there was something majorly wrong. Checked. Got the elevation down, as you can see here. Got the elevation down. Started shooting only at this. That's why none of these really have marks in them. Started shooting only at this. Okay, now I can't go left anymore on my sight. So went up to the pro shop, and it's like, okay, I'm shooting 4 inches left of center. I need to bring it back over. I need to move my scope housing to the left. The actual scope housing. Well, here, let me get my scope out. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about here. Pay no attention to these marks. This is off. Okay, here we go. So my sight click was about down here for 20 yards, right about in here. And I went up to just like 4.1.6 on my scope for my sight, okay? Which is quite a bit to go up, you know, to bring that sucker down. So I'm getting close back to my original 20-yard sight mark. Because we'd put a little felt and we changed some things and we changed my anchor point. And so it changed a lot. Okay, it changed a lot. When I changed my anchor point, it changed my 20-yard mark. And I had to go way down here. So with my new sight mark, my 20 yards is way down here. So I can't drop this anymore. But anyhow, so for whatever reason, I had to bring it from down here way back up here because I was shooting super high for whatever reason. So brought it back down to center. Then what I mean by sight housing, I'm talking this whole thing right here, my actual optic. It was pretty much, if you can see a little scratch mark, I don't know if you can, the scratch mark is like right there. I mean, just near, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch away to the right of that nut. That's where it was, right up against this housing. And my adjustment here was all the way to the left, touching this end over here. And I could not go any further. And I'm shooting 4 inches off to the left. So I had the pro shop guys move this completely over. Just a little over a quarter inch. I'll measure it actually. Here, let me get a measuring stick. Yep, okay. Like I moved it, had to move it, and they moved it a quarter inch. And now my adjustment for windage is back into the dead center. Well, off by a little bit because, you know, I'm at in between 3 and 4 to the left. So I'm about center on my windage adjustment again. Everything else is A, B, and C. You know, A, B, C, and you know all 3 axes are squared out. So this it's a tuned sight. It's just you know, even my 30-degree down and up is tuned in. So got that fixed. Just a matter of having it moved. Just having it moved that quarter inch to the right, just the optic housing, and getting that sight adjustment back to center, put me right on the X. You know, and right around it. So, and that was like one of the final few shots because they closed, you know, at 6 on Saturday. So, this was the last 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, the last 5 arrows of the night. was all on, because I went to shooting center face. So these are the last 5 arrows in the night. With just moving that scope housing. So it's been, I was going to score the NFA 5-spot 50 round for indoor, which is 5 arrows for 10 ends. But when all these were happening, I was like, and I had to take care of it. So I took care of it. Now I'm back. So I'm not going next week to the range because I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I might be getting the backyard target moved and situated and all that this week. So maybe a little bit more backyard shooting. And where we're at, the wind won't affect me as much. So that'll be a good thing. The other thing tonight, though, that I had an issue with, and at first I really stumped by it. I mean, I was mega stumped by it. It was making me angry. The other thing that happened tonight at the range, and it was stumping me for the life of me. And sometimes, so we don't get a bounce here. Sometimes you gotta step back, look at the situation, take a moment, take a break, especially if you're confused or having trouble trying to figure out something. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a simple solution, which is exactly what this one was. So, let me get my bow out and set the camera up on a tripod, and I'll show you what I'm talking about and what the simple solution was. Alright, so let me get out my bow. My case will let me. There we go. Okay. Stay there. So, what I'm talking about that ended up being super simple fix is this right here. I would take a shot, okay, and this cable would end up right there, just like that, okay, every shot. I'd fix it and to go back. So, what I found out, after looking at it and hemming and hawing, just be like, what's going on? Like, what the hell's going on now? What the hell's going on now? Well, what it ended up being, and I was right, simple solution. Because all it needed was this. A little wax. A little lube, string wax. That's all it needed on the cable slide. That's all it needed. What was happening is this slide was so dry in here because the warmth that over the last couple of days just kind of whatever. I should have checked it before shooting. But I did a twist test just on the slide alone, and it was like, hard to twist. Like, okay. And tried to move it, and when I pulled it back, it went, and then went forward. So it stuttered. So what was going on was, as I draw, it would come back, and as it released, it stuttered and stop, and so this just causes the string to pop forward when it released, which was probably causing some issues with shooting, probably not. So all I did was just, waxed up this part of the string, pushed it forward, waxed up this, that part, pulled it back, waxed up this part, put the wax on and spun this around, and now it doesn't stutter. And shot it the rest of the night during practice, and didn't have one issue after that. It stayed sits. So, if you have a problem with your equipment at some point, usually a simple issue, a simple fix, something like, okay, when we were trying to figure out a little bit earlier what's wrong, why am I shooting higher, we checked my anchor point, checked my grip on my release, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, the simple thing, check the peep. Wait, is your peep tied in? Yes, my peep is tied in. It's not it does not slide anywhere. My D-loop doesn't slide anywhere. So, and the drop way. How's the drop way doing? So I checked it full draw, made sure that it was coming up completely. It was. I checked the felt. Make sure, it's still, it was still down, and it is. Oh, I got to replace that soon. It's actually, yeah. I need to replace that. I'm checking it over here, yeah. And so, check. Don't go over, oh God, I got to do this. Something major went wrong. No, just take a step back, take a breather, check it out. See what went wrong. So I mean, it could be a myriad of simple things. But that's all I've got. Maybe do a quick rundown for you. For those who don't know, who haven't seen it, I have a 2006 PSC Nova. It's old school. It was never shot when I bought it. It was brand new. I got it at a great deal for 150 bucks. Brand new, never shot. It came with the rest for finger shooters, so it had the 2-blade finger shooting overdraw rest. But I didn't need it. I didn't like it. It wasn't working for me, so I switched to a drop away. Well, being as this was my starter bow, I got the $45, $50 Kuka drop away, Kuka Outdoors drop away rest. It works. It's cable driven. This is the second one because the first one had a problem with the bearings on the inside, which they replaced right away and took care of at the pro shop. It is all the way forward, almost all the way forward, because this is one of the things that will affect your torque in your aim in the whole setup. Other videos for that, but the grip it came with was like ABS plastic, and so went to Big 5 Sporting Goods, got some black hockey grip tape, wrapped it around it a few times, built up the back side a little bit right in here, so like get a little better, more natural holding grip on it. So I wasn't kicked like this anymore. I was able to straighten it out. It was a little easier to hold at that point. I have a Fivix offset, adjustable offset, 2-axis, or 3-axis if you count this. So 1, 2, and then 3. I have a Fivix Phoenix 500D, 1500D, front stabilizer with 8 ounces on it. I have a Cartel rear stabilizer, 10-inch rear stabilizer with 9.64 ounces of weight on it. I need to change that a little bit. I like the wrist strap instead of the finger sling. It's just personal preference. I have the Cartel Alcon sight with Cartel optic, 4x optic, fast flight strings, in purple and pink, or blue and pink is my thing. My D-ring, or D-ring, my D-loop is just the super soft white D-loop string. It's not as, it's a little bit thicker, but as you can tell, it's really soft. I mean, I can twist this all over the place, and that's because I didn't want to, you know, because I switched from my wrist release, you know, the finger trigger, to the whippersnapper and the back tension. So I was coming up more, you know, more flat, and so I didn't want this in, you know, being like twisted, you know, like this, and putting any torque on it, you know, causing anything else. So, you know, got that dropped to a 1/8, or is it 3/16? 1/8 or 3/16 peep sight, the smallest one they had at the time. I need to go a little smaller for where my sight sits. I have an open airspace ring around my scope, and I want to reduce it. So one way to reduce it is bringing your sight bar in, but if you've torque tuned with your sight bar and it's at the place where you get the tightest grip, then you got to change your peep to close up that aperture around your ring if that's what you want. If you want your stay here. If you want your peep and your scope to sit ring in ring, and you don't want that dot in the middle kind of thing, you've already torque tuned your bow with your scope and your rest, and you got that dot in where you want it, you need to now change your peep sight if you want to have your scope housing and your peep to match up. Now, if you don't mind that little airspace that goes around the outside of the scope, like some hunters do, you know, to get a lot of light in and all that kind of stuff, you know, then stay with, you know, however it makes it work for you. But other than that, one thing I learned today, as tuning is always a constant in target archery sport, and learning something new is something constant in the target archery sport. I learned today, check my cable guide, check my cable roller, make sure it's lubed, make sure it's not hiccuping, make sure it's operating properly, keep my strings, you know, waxed, that kind of thing. Yeah, I learned a little something. Now, the only thing I wish I had on this was a lower riser threaded area, so I can add a weight down here. So I'm going to have to dirt road boy it and affix a weight with some grip tape to the bottom of the riser. So not on here, but down here. Yeah, not on the limb, on the bottom of the riser, to get me some center gravity weight to help, you know, just to help hold it better, a little more stability. So, well, I hope it's been informative and all that. Like I said, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain at Target. It don't mean crap today. But I learned a little something. I got tuned a little bit more. Getting closer to the finals or the championships, and all that. Sorry I didn't get no in on range video, but that's because I forgot my camera at home and just wasn't thinking about it. It was our off day, although I'm getting ready to work in the shop. But I thought I'd do a quick video. So, like always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell at the bottom notifies you anytime we here on YouTube add a new video to our page, to our channel. And as always, be good, be kind. Team Beast, all the way.